So my Genius Hour project is about ballet. I wanted to do this topic because I've been doing dance since I was 2 or 3, I can't remember exactly. And I've always been curious about a few things, and I never really got my answers to them until now. So my inquiry-based questions are: how has ballet developed since created? How does ballet impact the mental health of a dancer, and how does ballet impact the physical health of a dancer? So how has ballet developed since created? So ballet was originally for men. So if I was in the 1300s, I wouldn't be able to do ballet, but like Sawyer and Sawyer would, and like men would be able to do ballet, but women weren't allowed to do it at all. So originally they moved from pose to pose using a flat foot. Now they use a pointed foot, and if we didn't use a pointed foot, ballerinas wouldn't look so graceful in their movements in the ballets that they do. So originally ballet was performed on ballrooms, as now it is usually performed on stages and rarely anywhere else. So performers mostly wore masks and costumes and nothing really else, because they thought that they would stand out from other people more. So in the 1500s, women wore wigs and tight corsets, and men wore tights and lighter clothing. In the 1600s, ballet began to move from palace ballrooms to stages. And then, so how has ballet developed since created? In the 1700s, women started dancing as society cast aside the disapproval of them doing so. And Mary, I don't really know how to pronounce her last name, I think Giselle, let her hair down and wore lighter clothing as many others followed. So dancers became more fluid and graceful with their movements in the 1800s. For point, they said that whenever you're doing bourrées, you're supposed to look as if you're floating. So, it looks like this. And you're not exactly supposed to look like you're walking. You're supposed to look as if you're just moving smoothly like that. And then Mary, I think her last name's Taglioni, was the first to dance on point, which is what I'm doing now, followed by many other women. So in the 2000s, I think it might have actually been in the 1900s, but leotards were more worn in the 2000s, created with spandex to grant ballerinas more freedom. And then how does ballet affect the mental health of a dancer? It improves self-esteem, it eases depression, and it lowers anxiety. It may prevent dementia, which is loss of memory, and it lessens your loneliness. The disadvantages is, oh my god, I keep pointing into that, sorry. There can be high prevalence of anxiety, eating disorders, and also depression. And dancers normalize eating disorders and anxiety and depression and many things. And so how does ballet affect the physical health of a dancer? It increases muscle strength. It lowers the risk of cardiovascular disease. It improves your posture, because at dance, they say you have to have a perfect alignment, flat back and stuff like that. It improves your flexibility, and it gives you better coordination and agility. And it increases your endurance. So the disadvantages are you can get overused injuries because, for example, I've had my point shoes for 3 months. Professionals would usually have them for 3 days because of how much they use them in that short amount of time. So you can also get foot and ankle injuries because, so when you're standing normally, there's 4 times your weight going into your feet. When you're on point, there's 12 times your weight going into your toes. And then you can get arthrosis, which is a non-inflammatory degenerative condition. And then I don't exactly know how to say that, but it's the inflammation of a bone in the foot. And you can get cancer. It's not really the most common, but at height, it increases the risk of cancer. And then, what were my setbacks? So I couldn't really always find good sources. So I had to really look into most of the things in my time because we missed a lot of 212 for PLC days and things like that. And how did I overcome these things? I would fact check myself. I worked at home and at my home school. I had to look into different websites. And then, what are some questions I still have? Why was ballet created in the first place? Why is ballet known as the origin of dance? And why? Oh my God. And why do so many people think ballet was created in the 1600s when it was really created much earlier? And thank you for listening. That's